right, he's back.
Okay, this is a fine-tuning argument. It's basically a variation of Luke Barnes. Um, so there's like two premises and a conclusion. It's just a little more simplified. So basically, premise one: if an outcome is far more expected on theism than on naturalism, this would support theism. Premise two: a life-permitting universe that allows for rational minds is an outcome far more expected on theism than on naturalism. Conclusion: therefore, our life-permitting universe supports theism.
Oh, it's a bear.
Are you saying? Wait, are you saying it's expected under bear theism?
Yeah, basically, you could define like theism here as sort of like a rational mind that created the universe that's um, open to relationship, it's creative, something to that
Well,
effect.
why would bear theism predict that he creates rational agents even?
Well, I would say because at bare minimum, you would have to defend that naturalism, which is the thesis that the natural world is all that exists, which is fundamentally non-rational, like a
No,
reality.
I'm just asking under bear theism why if we
Because
would
you you
expect.
you at least have a rational mind, so it's not surprising to see other rational minds.
No,
You at least have that.
well, I'm not saying it would be surprising or like unexpected. I'm just asking why it would be like why would that be expected under or predicted by bear theism? Because you're not saying like some specific god or some stipulation added onto it. You're just saying theism.
Well, you could look at it two ways. You could say far more expected in the sense that it's less surprising. And
I
if you
mean, what do you mean by less surprising? Just intuitively?
Yeah, I mean if you
Oh
already
well,
have
I don't
yeah,
really take that to be evidence.
okay,
Like
what's
your
that?
intuition, are you saying?
What's that?
Like, are you saying that it just aligns with your intuitions? Because I
Well,
mean, why would bare theism predict rational minds? I'm not
well,
understanding.
you already have. Okay, let's compare it to naturalism because this is what the argument's doing. It's comparing it, uh, bare theism with naturalism. Naturalism, you have just this physical world that obeys the laws of physics. There's no
Okay.
rationality at all. It's fundamentally non-rational. Why would we
Okay.
expect rationality in a world that is fundamentally
Yeah,
non-rational?
given like, well, first of all, I'm still gonna ask you because
You
like,
can, but
I,
the argument
hold
is a
on, just
comparison between
wait.
two
Yep, I
hypotheses.
understand. Just hold on. Let me finish. So I'm still gonna ask you how it's expected, right? Because even if it is the case that it's a comparison, it still needs to be expected by bare theism for this to go through. But also, yeah, if we just say like, the universe has some natural disposition, to where sometimes in very rare cases it can allow for like rational minds to like emerge. Um, I don't see why that explanation is like worse. Just bare naturalism, bare theism. Now, if you want to add some stipulation where it's like an all loving God, so maybe he would want to create conscious beings or something. Well, that's like different.
Yeah, I mean, I think bare theism kind of leads to that because you have a personal God. Number one, it's not deism, it's theism. It's a personal God. You already have a rational agent. So rational minds is not surprising in a world where there's
Well,
like a
but you've
rational
said
agent.
that, but but look, not surprising. You're not telling me it's expected. You're just saying it's not unexpected.
Well, yeah, I mean that's evidence in its favor. Like,
That's what I'm. Well, that's what's in contention. So, bare theism again. You've already said like all it stipulates is that a mind created the universe, right? Um, and so I don't understand how that in itself entails that God would create
well, I
rational
mean,
minds.
obviously you already have a rational agent, God. And if we're talking about
Mhm.
bare theism, it's a personal being. It's creative. Bare theism
Well,
holds.
okay, but
Okay,
now
can
you're
I
saying it's
finish?
a
Can
personal
I
being.
finish? Like every time I
Okay.
talk, you keep
Okay.
cutting me off.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
bare theism, you have a creator. This being is creative. It's a rational mind.
Creative?
It's open to relationship because we're talking about theism, not deism. So it's not surprising. It's kind of somewhat expected that a creative being will create things. It's open to relationships, so it'll create things that it can be in relationship with, and
Hmm.
you can be in relationship with rational minds. That's a great candidate
Yeah,
things
so
to
what
be.
you're referring to is
Now compare that to
classical
naturalism.
theism.
Which one predicts rational minds better?
So, but then it's not bare theism, it's classical theism,
Well,
where
either
God is.
way, compare it to naturalism. Which one predicts it better?
Okay, yeah, hold
Or which?
on. So you're adding extra stipulations now, right? So
But
now
what?
God
All right.
is
Okay.
like a
What does
loving God.
naturalism predict here?
Well, I don't think so. Look. In terms of maybe predictive power, you might actually win here, right? But what I would just say is that well, no, this is like very simple. What I would just say is that like the prior probability of theism, and now you're adding on like an extra stipulation, making it even less likely, right? If I just say like naturalism, under naturalism there was just this natural dispositions such that in very rare occasions rational minds could emerge. It might be true that yours predicts it a little bit better, but I'm adding on a lot less stipulations while still explaining it
Yeah,
roughly.
I'm not sure what stipulations I'm adding. I'm bare theism. What
Yeah,
do
you're
we
talking
expect on bare
about.
theism?
So look, we
We
have a
weren't talking
mind that
about.
created the universe, but now this mind that created the universe is all loving. Now this mind like wants relationships with people.
That's bare
Um,
theism.
No,
that's
that's
not bare theism. That's
Yeah,
like
yes, it
classical
is. Bare
theism.
theism holds
wait,
to all the omnis.
no, it
Benevolence.
doesn't.
That's
Wait, no, no,
classical
no.
theism.
Bare
Okay,
theism is
let's look up the Internet
wait,
Encyclopedia of
bare.
Philosophy, and
Go
let's look
ahead.
how
Let's go
bare
to
theism
the
is
SCP. It's just
Cap,
described.
what is Cap? Maybe you know.
Yeah, bare theism is just a thesis that there's a mind that created the universe. It doesn't want to
No, bare
describe
theism includes all the omnis.
No, it doesn't. It's just a mind with causal powers that created
Okay,
the
do you have a
universe.
source that's how bare theism is defined only as a
That's
mind that creates?
well, that's
Yeah, I
how
can
it's
just
always
go
been
into
defined.
SCP.
Classical
Where?
theism is
Where
defined.
has it been
I
defined
can
like
just go to
that?
the SCP.
Well, I can like find SCP on it.
You don't think there's theists that don't hold the God having the omni proper, like being all loving?
Well, there's always some exception. I'm just saying generally how it's defined in the literature.
Okay, well, it doesn't even matter. You understand the concept I'm alluding to. You're still adding on extra stipulations to a mind creating
Extra
the universe.
stipulations to what definition? Some random definition
It's
or
not. Wait,
Talk
what?
about
No,
classical
no.
theism.
It's
This
not
doesn't
about the
matter.
definitions. Look, you could say a mind created the universe, right? Simplicator, and that's all you're stating. And then you could add on extra stipulations and attributes to the God.
All theism is just the thesis that there's a mind that created the universe. Right? What you're talking about is classical theism, maybe even like scholastics, where this God has some sort of omni properties, right? Like all loving, etc.
yeah, I disagree. Bare theism here, right here. I'm looking at the Rutledge Companion to Theism. If theism is defined as a belief in the existence of an omnipotent, omniscient, all good creator and ruler of all things in heaven and earth, then Christianity entails theism. While Christianity also entails much more. So what this article is saying is that theism is defined as a belief in the existence of an omnipotent, omniscient, all good creator and
Look,
ruler of all
I
things.
just take that to be classical theism. But look, it doesn't even
I'm
matter. You
actually citing
understand?
an academic.
Look, but you understand the principle I'm laying out. Like, it doesn't even matter that you're getting caught up on the definitions, right?
We are
Oh my
saying
God.
I'm adding stipulations to bare theism. I'm telling you how bare theism.
You are. And I'll
I
tell
just
you
told
why,
you what
right?
bare
Because,
theism allows.
okay,
for.
look, all I mean by bare theism is just a mind creating the universe. Now, what you're doing is you're adding on extra attributes, right? So you are
To
adding
what you
extra
mean,
stipulations.
but the argument is what
Wait,
I
which
mean
one
by
has
it.
more entities than the other? Like, which one?
Okay, you're telling me I'm being inconsistent with the definition of bare
Uh,
theism. I just read you the
Tristan, maybe you want to give it a
definition.
shot. I can't talk to this guy.
Oh, me? Did you say me, Ogs?
Yeah.
We're going to have to kind of start a little bit more from scratch. I stopped paying attention. I kind of lost where.
He's telling me I'm adding to bare theism. I read him what bare theism means, and it's basically what I've said. I'm not
We could
adding
just start from the
anything. He's
argument.
subtracting.
We'll just start from the argument.
Okay.
You want to say it again? Because I was not paying attention.
Okay, this is from the Rutledge Companion to Theism. If theism, I'm comparing bare theism to naturalism. Which of these two hypotheses better predicts rational minds?
And just real quick, bare theism is what in your language system?
It's defined as a belief in the existence of an omnipotent, omniscient, all good creator and ruler of all things.
Got it.
And Christianity entails theism, but Christianity adds more. So I'm not even going into
That's
that.
fine.
I'm just going
So you're
into
saying
this bare
perhaps
definition.
perhaps you would just say more accurately that bare theism is a mind that created a universe plus the omnis.
Yeah, or at least a mind that creates a universe that is open to relationship in some sort. You could even leave out the omnis. But it's not simply just a mind that creates.
It's not my language system. It's yours. So I just want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this definition bullshit. So if you just want to like, kind of figure this out real quick, so that we could have a debate, not about definitions.
Well, I mean, definitions are a little important, don't you think?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking you to figure your own definitions out.
I would say just say yeah. So a rational mind that creates the universe that's open to relationship. I would just define it like that, very modestly.
So no omni properties?
We could just leave that off the table.
Because I'm going to type this in the chat. Rational mind that created the universe that is open to relationships.
Yeah.
And I'll put comma, no omnis.
Yeah, we can leave the omnis out if you want.
Wait, let me actually type the definition.
Are those honest and open relationships through our words?
You're an idiot. Okay, so, all right, continue. Now that I know what bare theism is.
So I'll just repeat my argument again. So,
Thanks.
Yeah, premise one, if an outcome is far more expected on theism, the definition I just gave, than on naturalism, it supports theism. Premise two.
Yeah, I accept premise one.
Yep, premise two. A life-permitting universe that allows for rational minds is an outcome far more expected on theism than on naturalism. Conclusion, therefore, our life-permitting universe supports theism.
I reject premise two.
Okay, so the way to reject premise two is you're going to have to make a case that naturalism or it's less surprising to find rational minds on naturalism than on a world that already has a rational mind.
Yeah, the universe is on balance, not life permitting.
I mean, it's already a given.
What do you mean?
What do you mean the universe? Like the universe we're in right now is not life permitting? We
Yeah.
wouldn't be here if it wasn't.
Yeah, I said on balance. You got to listen more carefully than that.
The fine
So, like, what-
I'm not sure what you mean. Fine tuning is talking
Sure.
about the initial
So-
parameters. The
Wait,
initial
this isn't even
conditions.
fine tuning. This is anthropic.
This is okay. So I'll just play ball. So if we're talking about what's expected, if it's expected that life exists, then life should be more plentiful in the universe, given that, and this combined with the fact that life is one of the rarest things in the universe, it's not expected. So this is not expected under your worldview.
The fine tuning argument is about the initial conditions.
This isn't fine tuning. You're not.
I
This is.
came onto the live saying
It's okay,
I'm
just-
presenting a fine
just-
tuning argument.
Okay, I don't even care. Who the fuck cares about the title of the fucking argument? I don't care.
Nah, you're
I'm
right.
just-
You're right. You're right.
I'm just debunking your argument. Your argument is debunked because it's not expected. Life is rare, therefore it's not expected.
You're straw manning my argument.
No, you're just saying you said life is expected,
Yeah.
but
A
like,
life permitting universe that allows for rational minds.
Yep.
Do you
It's
know
not
what I
expected.
mean by a
Expected
life
that
permitting
we have more
universe that
life?
allows for rational minds?
why
Yeah.
don't we have more life?
Hold on, Dumbo. So, I guess that was the next question.
What do I mean by a life permitting universe that allows for rational minds? You're just
A universe that allows life
in what sense? Like
in any sense.
in any sense. So we're talking
Yeah.
about the fundamental parameters, the initial conditions, aka fine tuning.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
So if those initial conditions weren't the way they are, life would not exist. You and I wouldn't be talking to each other.
Correct.
What you're talking about is the universe writ large. It's inhospitable to life. I'm not talking
Correct.
about if we leave this planet. I'm talking about the initial conditions.
Yeah, so I don't know if you
So you're
know what the
strawmanning
argument
what I'm
was.
saying.
Hold on, don't interrupt. I don't know if you know what your argument was, but the argument was the universe is finely tuned for life. So unfortunately, if you want to backtrack and recapitulate the verbiage of your argument, I'll allow you to do that. But the universe is not finely tuned for life under the conditions that you gave. Given a rational mind
What
exists.
conditions did I give?
So the premise 2 of the argument.
Yeah, you didn't even ask me what conditions I'm talking about. You're just assuming.
What? You gave the premise. You think I'm assuming after you gave
I
a
said a
premise?
life-permitting universe. What conditions did I mention? I just said a life-permitting universe.
The only conditions are the threshold of life and non-life. Are you like? Do you have some different conditions you want to talk about?
Well, are we living beings right now talking to each other? Does our
Answer the
universe
question.
permit us to have this
Answer
conversation?
the question. Did you forget the question?
I think. Okay, what's the question?
The question was, did you forget the question? Currently, then we got to go back to the other one.
What was the question?
So you forgot it.
I don't even know what the question is right now.
The
Because
threshold. Let me just like back up a little bit even more because I think you're confused right now. You're talking about, hey, the universe is finely tuned for the initial conditions of life. I said, well, in premise 2, you're just outlining that the universe is finely tuned. Well, I hate to break it to you, but the universe isn't finely tuned because on balance, given like the volumetric like spaces that we've measured in the universe, there's just like not life, right? That we've seen. So the universe on balance, as far as we've verified, is not finely tuned for life. So that's what I'm trying to help you understand, but you're just like locked in on just like being a bad faith interlocutor right now.
if the universe were not finely tuned to permit life, we wouldn't be here. Yes or no?
Wait, I'm sorry, say that again.
If the universe were not finely tuned to permit life, we wouldn't be here. Yes or no?
No. Hold on.
So the universe is finely tuned to permit life like us.
Not on balance.
What do you mean by on balance? I'm talking about the initial conditions.
You need to know what like balance means.
The argument is
Do I need to help you out with that?
isn't all throughout space you're going to find life. The argument is the initial conditions allow for life.
So when we talk
permit
about
it.
like when we talk about something as evidence for a claim, right? If I say what's a good example? If I say my house is finely tuned for dry floors and like my floors are soaking wet, but there's one single dry spot that's like a nanometer wide, would I like make the argument that my house is finely tuned for like dry floors?
Wait, I think you guys are like talking past each other. Here's why. I think Theosophical just wants to say that instead of like using this weird fine-tuning verbiage, he could just say, oh, well, in certain parts of the universe or in this part of the universe, it's able to facilitate life as we know it. I think that's what he means. I don't think he means like, oh, as a whole.
No. He would mean as a whole. That wouldn't help his argument.
Yeah, not at all.
Not at
It's
all.
like the
Yeah,
universe.
I think this is. I think it's a straw man of the fine tuning. The fine tuning argument is not complaining. It's not. It's not claiming that life is found throughout the universe.
No.
The claim is that the
the
initial
fine-tuning
conditions
argument.
they permit for life. They
I
permit
know
for,
that.
for
Hold
rational
on.
minds.
Okay, let's just get a little bit more like conducive here. So like if God exists and God is a rational mind, then God would have the ability to create the universe, and the universe through God's will is like divinely equivalent. And what I mean by divinely equivalent is like God wills like certain properties of the universe like unanimously, right? So if God like had the ability, if when God created the universe, he gave it like these life permitting fine tuning constants, then it means that they would be applied to the entire universe. Correct or incorrect?
The constants apply to they apply to the entire universe. Like the cosmological constant applies to the entire universe.
Perfect. So now you're smart enough to understand what just happened to you, right?
No, I don't actually. I think some games are being played here, but let's hear the game.
Sure. If God is a rational mind that applied universal constants that are finely tuned, then it means that life would have life, which is only permissible via these constants, would appear universally because the constants are universal. So the fact that life only appears here, insofar as that we know, is evident. Cap, I don't know what you're doing. Go back on mute.
You're like talking past each other.
Like, hold on. I just don't care, Cap. Go back on mute. Thank you. So like the fact that these constants are created in the universe and are universally applied is just evidence that that naturalism is true because they're not finely tuned, right?
No, that's not true at all.
Sure.
There's two things
Which
here.
part of that do you reject?
There's a straw man of the argument. First of all, again, the fine tuning argument is not that. It's not the claim that life is everywhere in the universe. The claim is about the initial conditions that permit life like us with rational minds. Now, I want you to compare that with naturalism, which is a view that the natural world is fundamentally non-rational. Why would we expect rationality in a world that is fundamentally non-rational.
Wait,
Even if we,
rationality.
huh?
I thought this was about life and not necessarily rationality.
Well, you didn't listen to my second premise. A life-permitting universe that allows for
Mhm.
rational minds is an outcome far more expected on theism than on naturalism. Why would we
Okay, so it's not
expect?
just
Why would we
sure.
expect these conditions to be built in to a world that is non-rational?
Yeah, sure. I would just say that's
Why
expected
would we
under natural
expect that
selection
more than on theism? Or why would we
because
be
it's
less
just expected
surprised by that?
under it's just expected under something like natural selection.
You need the conditions to get to natural selection.
Yeah,
Yeah, so why
I
would
would
we
say under
expect
naturalism.
conditions that allow
Mhm.
for rationality in a world that is fundamentally non-rational?
Yeah, molecular structures such as amino acids are like very common, and those are the building blocks for life to be initiated. And given like there are like just a googolplex amount of chemical reactions going on Earth right now, and it would have been the same back when abiogenesis occurred. It's just expected that life is inevitable. And so, given that, that was your question as the prerequisite for why is it that evolution would be even able to take place and natural selection. That's the answer.
Yeah, all of this is prior to that. Like these are the initial conditions that are built into
I
before
just
you
gave
even
you the
get
initial
life.
condition for evolution. That's what you were
Yeah, why
asking
would we
for.
expect that? And why would we expect these conditions that permit rational minds in a world that is fundamentally non-rational?
Did you miss it the
You
first
didn't
time?
explain it. You just said, "This is what
Sure.
happened." We're asking
Oh, sure.
why would we expect that?
Oh, because
Not
amino
that it
acids are
happened, but why
very
would we
common.
expect to see it happen?
Amino acids are very common for the fourth time. I'll
Okay,
say it a
again,
fifth.
why would we expect amino acids?
Because amino acids are very commonly formed just via like chemical structures. I'm not sure how
Why
much
would we
more deeper I need to
expect
go.
the conditions built in to the universe to allow for those things on naturalism?
You're just gonna like keep asking why is this allowed until like we
No, why would
just
we
don't know any
expect to
further,
see
or
it? Why would we
expect to
see
see
it?
what
And
specifically what?
and my argument isn't about amino acids. It's about permitting. It's about
Hmm.
the conditions that permit rational minds. I'm not
Sure.
arguing
So I
about
gave you
amino acids.
sure. Well, okay. Let's just like recapitulate the point. So, in order for rational beings, you have to have beings, and what I mean by beings is just life. So, in order for rational beings to exist, you just need life, right? And so I gave you the argument for why it's expected life to exist. And life existing is like the fundamental pillar of what it takes, to get like natural selection rolling. And so then you asked, well, why is it the case that life is able to be like selected for? And so I gave you like the account of abiogenesis and why it's likely. And then you asked, well, why is that the case? And I said, well, okay, amino acids are very common. And then you said, well, why is that the case? So I just don't know, like, if we're going to third grade our way back to the why question.
I guess
but,
I just don't see why. I don't
I don't
see
know
how
if
naturalism even predicts
I don't know
any
if
of that.
6 different explanations is good enough for you, but I don't know.
I just
don't know how
think
many
you're.
times we need to do it.
Yeah, I just think you're kind of equivocating on the point.
Which point am I equivocating on?
Because I'm asking you why we would expect these things to be these conditions to be built in,
Specifically, which one?
the conditions that allow for rational minds.
Yeah. And do you remember the first one? Step 1?
Because of amino acids. You're just giving me descriptions. I'm not seeing like any predictive
that was step
power
2.
here. Why would we expect that?
Amino acids were step 2. Step 1
Yeah,
was
why?
natural selection.
Yeah, why does naturalism predict that though?
Why does
Any of that?
naturalism
Why would we
predict
expect to
natural
see
selection?
that? No, yeah. Why would we expect to see any of that on naturalism?
Natural selection?
Yeah, I mean the universe could have been any other way. Why would we expect it to be that way on naturalism?
I would just say it abides the laws of physics at some fundamental level.
And the laws of physics are fundamentally rational or non-rational?
I don't know what you mean by rational. I would say they're non-rational.
Yeah,
But
why
like,
would we expect
I would just take the
rationality
ability.
in a world that
I
is
would just take
fundamentally
rationality.
non-rational?
Hold on. I would just take. I don't know what you mean by like the laws of physics are rational, but I would just say that rationality is just a matter of having agency, and I don't think the laws of physics contain agency. So I don't think the laws of physics are like quote unquote rational.
Yeah,
And I also
agreed.
take the laws of physics to just be descriptive. So I don't know what you are kind of asking for there.
Well,
But
I'm
look,
asking why would
hold
we
on,
expect
real
to see
quick.
rationality on a
So
world that is
now that
fundamentally
it's the case,
non-rational?
now that it's the case that I've had an answer for like 85 of your questions, do you kind of admit that there's like really no good point to this argument?
I don't think you've actually answered it. I think you're just kind of playing whack-a-mole.
Sure. Which question specifically? Let me help you out.
Why
Which
would we
question
expect? Here's
specifically?
the question I have for
Which
you.
question
The laws of
specifically?
physics are
Hold on, I'll just mute
fundamentally
you. Which question
non-rational.
specifically
Why
did I
would
not
we
answer?
expect to find rationality in a world that is fundamentally non-rational? Why would we expect to find rationality in a world that is fundamentally non-rational?
Sure, because of
That's
natural
my only
selection
question
for
to
the
you.
8th time. That's number 8. I'll count for you.
Because of amino acids? That
Nope.
doesn't answer
This
the
is
question.
the number 9. Natural selection.
Okay, so let me recapitulate what you said. My question was, why would
Keep
we
in mind
expect
it's
to
natural
find
selection.
Yeah, why would we expect to
Number 10.
find rationality in a world that is fundamentally non-rational? And your answer is natural selection.
Yep.
That's a process. That doesn't
Yep.
tell us. It
Uh-oh.
doesn't tell
You
us
realized
why
it,
we would
didn't you?
expect to see that.
Okay, so then keep going. Why does it not answer the question?
Because there's
Do you
some
need,
kind
like-
of it
Do you
doesn't.
think like maybe the better question would be like,
How does it
why is
answer the
natural-
question?
Sure. Okay.
It'd be
so
like
maybe
me
it
asking
can
you,
go
why would we
a level
expect to
deeper
see
there.
an orange on an
So,
apple tree?
Why is it sure?
Like,
So
they're
natural
two different
selection.
things.
Natural selection. I would say like rationality, like the ability of being rational, like necessarily allows you to have advantages in your environment more often than not, because it elicits your ability to manipulate your environment. And we see like very strong evidence of like you having like organisms having the ability to manipulate their environment and or understand it is just advantageous.
Okay,
So,
and a non-rational world predicts that. How?
a non-rational world
Yeah.
predicts
How does that predict
predicts-
that? Why would we expect to
predicts-
see any of that?
my ex. Are you just like on repeat? I just told you. So like
No, you're
I
not
told
even
you that
answering
it's the case.
question.
I mean, you could just say that over and over, but I don't
Okay,
really
well, I guess I'll let
understand.
the audience decide if that answers the question. I don't see how it does.
Keep in mind the answer was like having like a rational agency or like a rational being allows you to manipulate. Well, let me just ask you, do you think being rational allows you to manipulate your environment?
Yeah.
Sure. And do you think if two organisms, one next to the other, only one of them is rational, is going to be more successful? Sorry, the rational one going to be more successful than the other?
Yeah, I'm just talking about the initial conditions that even get
No,
you
no, no.
to that
No,
point.
stay with me. Stay with me.
No, you're
Do-
skipping the whole point of the
Hold on.
of my
Just stay
argument.
with me. Shh, 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 shh. Just stay with me.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
is it the case that the being who is rational versus the being who is not rational is going to be more successful? That's just yes or no. There's a point in all of this.
Yes. Yes. But
Okay,
I'm
sure.
talking about the conditions that get you to that point. Why are they built in? Why would we expect to see these things built in to the
Sure.
to reality? You're
Yeah, so-
skipping that part. You're just jumping. Well, they're just built
Are you
in.
asking how is it the case that rationality develops?
No, I'm not
like,
asking
even
how.
comes
I'm
about in the
asking
first
why
place?
this evidence is expected. Let me repeat premise 2. A life-permitting universe that allows for rational minds. Why would we expect that in a world that is fundamentally non-rational? You can't just skip that and go, well, because of natural selection.
Well, I
that
mean,
doesn't answer the question.
To be clear, like in the first 25 seconds, not 25 seconds, in the first 5 minutes, we got down to like the laws of physics fundamentally. So I got down all the way to like amino acids, like we went through evolution, we went through natural selection. Like we can introduce mutation if you want and just show you that
I
like
guess
random
I'm just
mutation.
asking how non-rationality predicts rationality. That's my question in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's just like
Why would we expect to see that?
okay, sure. There might be like a communication barrier here. I take rationality to just be a living organism who has like agency that can make choices that manipulate their environment. Is that a correct like representation of what rationality is to you?
I think there's probably more to it than that. I don't have like an
Add
exhaustive
it.
thing. Like, I mean,
Okay, add it because we're trying to figure this out right now. So add it if you need to.
well, rational. Do you think that's all we do is manipulate our reality? We don't contemplate deep things. I'm talking about people like rational minds like us, not like an
yeah, well,
insect.
that's what an
insect
agent
might,
is.
An insect might manipulate its reality. It might move things, but The point I'm getting at is a creature like us, like a rationality like humans have.
hmm
Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
just
lot deeper
because
than just manipulating your reality.
sure it's
We do a
because
lot of
it's
cool
because being
things.
sure it's because genetic mutation, like I suppose, allowed like phenotypical and like genetic traits that allowed for like the success of more like intelligent beings. I
Yeah, the
suppose.
reason I don't think that answers the question is because I'm not asking you about the process. I'm asking you how this evidence is predicted or expected. I'm not asking you what process brought this about. That's why I don't think
Mhm.
you're answering the question.
I don't know. I think genetic mutation does that. Like if you have an organism that genetically mutates in such a way that's just advantageous, and the chain of events always predicts that like more intelligent or rational organisms have a higher chance of survival, then it would just be the case that that natural selection via genetic mutation, predicts these beings to thrive. Would you agree?
Yeah, I still don't think that's answering the question because we're talking
Hold on,
about
hold
the
on. Would you
conditions. We're
really
talking
quickly,
about
really
evidence
quickly?
expected.
Would you agree or not?
No, it's a red herring to what I'm asking.
What do you
It's
even think it was I
irrelevant.
said?
It's irrelevant.
What do
Because
you
I'm
think I
not
said?
asking you about the
What irrelevant?
processes.
Hold
I'm
on.
asking you why would we
What irrelevant thing do you think I said?
because you're talking
Because I don't.
about
I
processes.
almost
I'm not
guarantee you can't
asking you
remember.
what processes brought
Because I
about.
don't. I think you've got the blocker on and you just can't hear it.
Okay, let me
So
repeat
can we try to
premise
like
two.
see if you were
Let me
listening
repeat
real quick?
premise two. A life permitting universe that allows for rational minds is an
You're
outcome.
muted, Theo.
My question to you was not what processes brought about these events or outcomes.
Mhm.
My question to you is why would we even expect any of this? Two different
Yeah. So
questions.
yeah, you've been doing that for 25 minutes.
Because
So
you keep answering the same way for 25 minutes.
you
And
think me
you're
giving you
answering a
like
question I didn't
do you
ask.
think me giving you 18 different like explanations is like not answering your question in different ways?
My question wasn't what
I
processes
want you to
brought
keep
these
in
things
mind.
about.
I want you to keep in mind
At,
that like a process is the exact same thing as like what would allow the initial condition to be. You understand that?
the initial conditions of the universe isn't evolution.
That's not what I'm saying. We're working backwards. So the initial conditions of the universe are like, I don't know, some like fundamental structure of the laws of physics, if that's what you're asking. And I would just say the laws of physics allow chemical reactions to take place in such a way that allows for amino acids to form, which are the building blocks for life, which allow abiogenesis to take place, which allows for genetic mutation to take place, which allows for evolution to take place via natural selection.
Which
So,
allows for rational minds to take place. And then this is where I once again
do
ask
I need
my
to explain
question:
like
why
the
would
entirety
any
of
of
the
that be
universe to you?
expected on naturalism?
Because naturalism is just like fundamentally
Non-rational.
no, like naturalism has nothing to do like with what rational beings are. And naturalism is just like everything in the universe abides the laws of physics, as far as I know.
Yeah, and it's fundamentally non-rational.
I mean, you can say that over and over again,
Well, is it
but
rational? Are the laws of physics rational?
no, I've
Is
already explained this. No,
okay, so why would we expect rational minds on
keep
that
in mind.
world?
By the way, keep in mind. You agreed that the definition of rationability is just in a living organism that has like agency and is able to manipulate their
No,
environment.
I actually contested that. I said it's much more than that.
Oh, it's more than that.
I
So
mean,
if it
I kind
was
of yeah.
so okay, so if it was living organism plus some other
I
stuff,
said it's like
it
beings
would
like
still
us.
include living organism, right?
What's that?
If it was more, if it was a bunch more than that, then it would still include like living organism, right?
Yeah, it would have that. I would say it's not it's not reducible to just a thing that manipulates reality or whatever way you describe it. It's a lot. It's more than that.
Like what?
I don't know. I don't have an exhaustive. Do you think that's all humans do? That's all we do? Like, what's the
What?
difference between us and an insect then?
We are more intelligent. I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
we do a lot of
I
cool
think that's all I
stuff.
got.
That's all I'm saying, and we do
Yeah,
a
we do
lot
cool
of
stuff because we're more intelligent.
yeah. We're more intelligent. We're more
Look,
creative. We
um,
do a lot of cool
listen,
things.
Theo. I think what's happened so far is I've given you about 85 different, like very exhaustive explanations for
To a
precisely
question I
why it
didn't
is the
ask.
case.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just keep muting you. It's okay.
Yeah.
So what I've given you is like 85 different explanations for
question I
like
didn't
why
ask.
it is the case that these like physical events via some naturalistic laws have taken place. That's just going to be expected under our worldview and not under some rational worldview or like rational God worldview because of the first argument that I gave, which you like really disliked. And so given this, I think it's just like I had a really good explanation for naturalism. You had a really piss poor explanation for why it would not be the case that life would be everywhere, given the universe and its constants, which are finely tuned, would not just allow life to be everywhere. So I think, I don't know, given that, there's really nothing else I can do for you. I think I kind of reduced you to why, daddy, why,
Yeah.
like in the first
Hey,
25
would you
seconds.
ever want to do a
So-
public debate where you don't have a mute button?
Oh yeah, I'll go on your
Let's
live.
set
Do you
that
go
up.
live ever?
Yeah, let's set that up. We'll do a
I
public
mean, I
debate
could just go.
where you
I could just
can't
go on your
mute
live.
me.
Do you go live ever?
No, I haven't, but no, I want to go on a moderated debate where we both get to say what we need to say. I don't need a mute button. I don't do that to people. I let people finish. But yeah, you answered me 85 times to a question I didn't ask you. So I'll just leave it to the audience to figure out whether you actually answered it. But yeah, man, we can do this in a moderated debate where you don't mute me. I'm totally
I mean,
down for that.
yeah, Augs can just like demod me in the next conversation we have. It's not hard.
Okay. Well, I think I've said what I needed to say. I don't think you actually answered my question. So, but I'm going to bounce, guys. Hey, great talking. All right.